Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom. Welcome along to another live stream and the championship preview. First of all, apologies, what time is it? It's 4:39. I know a lot of people prefer to tune into these a little bit later on, but I'll be busy later on. So got to get into this now, and we are previewing this weekend's championship game. So I know people are still at work, but if you do appear in the stream, do say hello or say Leeds, like Jaggy has just managed to do. End of a 3-game week, so it's been massively busy. Obviously, the narrative going into this weekend, West Brom and Leeds pulling away towards the home straight pending any disasters now, and the ridiculous form of 6 out of the bottom 7, completely against what we would expect from teams in that area of the table. All of them winning quite well, quite frequently, except for Borough down in there, who are in a lot of trouble. Obviously, in the middle of that table, big stories still. Derby, Sheffield Wednesday, mentioning FFP making calculations with their points each and every game week. So, like I said, game week 35. James says, afternoon, Ben. Leeds to win 2-0. Leeds off to Hull. We'll talk about that in a minute. Game week 35 done. 11 games to go. West Brom on top, 69. Trevor says we need to beat Preston tomorrow. He's a Fulham fan. Tough run of fixtures coming up. Leeds on 65 in second. 5-point gap down to Fulham for Leeds. 9-point gap from West Brom down to Fulham. Playoffs slowed down, except really Forest, but Brentford and Preston have slowed down a little bit the last sort of 3 games particularly. So have Bristol City, so have Blackburn over the last 2. So that's the way it is all set up. Things starting to look a bit clearer for the top 2, but then stranger things have happened, and even certain teams that are involved this season did certain things last season that allowed them not to get over the line in the end. So let's go down the fixtures. Up at the top, it is West Brom, who are in great form at the top, versus Wigan, who are in great form down at the bottom. You wonder whether the two things cancel each other out. West Brom will be without Sawyers, but otherwise you'd imagine everything looking pretty ship-shape for them. Robson Kanu doing well up front. The signings of Grzycki, Robinson added in there. It was Livermore in the holding role in the last game with Kravinovic and Harper, and the ever dangerous Pereira still don't have maybe their first choice fullbacks. We did see Ahmed Hegazi in for Bartley, so we're expecting him to come in for a long while. West Brom in tremendous form, 5 wins and a draw in the last 6. Has seen them surge away again like they did just before Christmas. Wigan, however, also in wonderful form as well. Wonderful form, even if they were in the middle of the table. Mark says draw, laugh out loud. Cynical West Brom fan there, we think. Richard says keep going, Leeds, and evening to Luke in the chat as well. Yeah, Wigan 11 points from the last 6. Outstanding. 3-0 at Reading, 1-0 over Millwall, clean sheets, and then they went to Cardiff and drew 2-2. They drew 2-2 with Borough as well, and obviously they had that crazy away win at Leeds. So, if you can go away to Leeds and win, maybe you can go away to West Brom. Colin says, I now believe Leeds will be unbeaten to the end of the season. I'm trying to find a way to bet on this. Just stack up all the games in the division. I'm sure someone will take your money for that one. Leeds, couple of hard games. Fulham at home coming up, looks like a key one for Leeds. Luke says, Ben, your viewers must be 90% Leeds fans. I hope not, because we'll lose all of them when they get promoted. West Brom versus Wigan. Well, on paper, if both teams are in form and both teams play well, then West Brom win because they have better players than Wigan. The championship is strange. Wigan have won at Leeds. West Brom have lost at home to Borough. If you are like Mark, Mark says not cynical, seriously think it will be unchanged in a hard game. History of Wigan being a banana skin. Hips of the game also says Wigan to get a draw. Respect both of those people's opinions. Evidently, surely West Brom in this form, even without Sawyers, can knock this one over at the end of a 3-game week, you would think. Colin says Leeds are a top 10 supported club in the country. I think there are more Leeds fans than there are fans most of the Premier League clubs. I think that's probably true, and when you do the YouTube stuff, you do see size of club for what it is. Look, I've got to go for a West Brom win, even though Wigan are in excellent form. I think West Brom are gonna get the win. Moving on to Leeds, who we mentioned a lot. Leeds are off to Hull. Lovely 3 wins on the trot for Leeds. Colin says Wigan were good versus Leeds, good defensively. Leeds did let go a hell of a lot of chances in that game. Leeds winning at Borough a couple of nights ago to add to 1-0 wins over Bristol City and Reading. Luke says 1-0 leads for the rest of the season. H. Huss says, you think it's a good idea to put an acca on Leeds and West Brom win tomorrow? Yes, I do, frankly. I think they're both going to win, which maybe gives away my prediction that I am about to meet. Adam Nee says, what time am I leaving for the Hull game? I suspect I'll do what I often do in situations like this and just go at sort of 6:30 a.m. and go up really slowly and take my laptop with me and be very boring and do some work in the car park outside the ground. I would rather get there and wait than sit in loads and loads of traffic. So I'll be up there nice and early, hopefully, for Hull versus Leeds tomorrow. Remember, the Leeds curse is absolutely no more, so no need for any Leeds fans to worry about my presence at the game. I'm very much looking forward to it. I would not be looking forward to it if I were a Hull fan. Just not looking good, leaking loads of goals in home games, particularly 5 against Brentford, wasn't it, and 4 against Hull. Colin says, Tiger on my shirt, good point. This says the University of Memphis though, so it's a Memphis Tiger. Little Crow says it's not in London, so Leeds stand a chance. Yeah, no more London games for Leeds unless they get in the playoffs, in which case they may likely have 3 against Brentford, possibly, and then 1 at Wembley. So Steve says, am I Leeds' lucky mascot now? No, I think I'm Luton's lucky mascot, but the curse is definitely done. Talk Leeds says feeling confident for tomorrow. Yeah, I'm confident for Leeds. I don't think it'll be a 1-0. I think they could walk this one, frankly. We'll see if the ongoing Bamford saga sticks. I think Legrand Kev is hurt still, so Bamford definitely in there. Be nice to see him for his own sanity get on the score sheet. But good point I heard on the Squareball podcast I listened to while I was driving today, that other senior players are now stepped up, Klitsch, Hernandez and Ayling, and actually helped Bamford out and got some goals. Remember, they haven't really had a number 10 in there to help out. I've loved our defence. Colin says Luke Ayling is my player of the season on his recent performances. Talkley says I think Phillips is fit. Yeah, Leeds won without Phillips in the last game. Lots of Phillips for England talk at the moment as well. So I'm sorry, boring as it is, I've got to have West Brom beating Wigan and Leeds winning at Hull. I'm more certain of Leeds winning at Hull. Obviously, there is that little twitch that Wigan are in good form, and even Mark, the West Brom fan, on his saying it could be a draw. Let's move on to Fulham, who are still in it. I would say courtesy of Mitrovic getting them another last-minute goal, but we can pretty much now start to put the whole season down to Mitrovic, can't we? Hip to Game says Leeds and West Brom have made it through their sticky patches on the home straight now. Agreed, and I tweeted out today that, actually looking at some of the numbers on the basis that no one's anywhere near 2 points per game in the playoff positions, I mean, no one in the division is, that even if Fulham put on 2 points per game, that will only take them up to 82 points. Which basically means 5 wins in 11 for West Brom, 6 wins in 11 for Leeds. I don't even think it would need that many, because I don't see that assumes that Fulham and or Forest will get 2 points per game. I just don't see them doing it. I think the points per game is too slow for the ones down there. So yeah, definite home straight feeling. But Fulham still in it. They are at home to Preston. Fulham with the late win over Swansea in the midweek. Preston going down at West Brom. Difficult couple of games for Preston. Trevor says Fulham still have to play Forest, West Brom and Leeds. That is a fair point. So yeah, Fulham do get their run. They can take direct points off. Luke says if Leeds look like they're going up, the coronavirus will stop the season. Mark says, I think the Derby game at home on the Friday night might be a good one to use to take the title if we keep our rate up. Yeah, maybe I'll see you for that one then, Mark. We'll come up and have a look at West Brom. Yorkshire Evening Post has Phillips as a possible start. Yeah, some doubt on Phillips. But yeah, Fulham versus Preston. Preston, are they flat track bullies? We've kind of suggested they might be a little bit, getting a lot of the wins against the lower teams, not as good away as they are at home. I can see Mitrovic pulling Fulham through this one as well. They need to get a bit more pizzazz in their play, especially in those games that I think it was Trevor mentioned against, who was it? Forest, Leeds and West Brom, possibly all three of those guys. Hipster game says Fulham 2-1. Yeah, I'm going to stay boring on this one and go for the top three to all win again for the second successive game. And we can add Nottingham Forest in here because they also won on the last game week round. And I believe I'll have to click this button to check, but I think they're at Borough. Yeah, so Forest go to Borough on Monday night. Doron Tour says, you Reds. Nice. Yeah, Forest and West Brom for Fulham still to come. Yeah, so Forest off to Borough. Forest picked up a really good win at Cardiff. It had been a little bit of a slowdown, draw defeat before that. Not good for Forest, drawing with QPR, drawing away at West Brom, which is a good result, isn't it? And losing at home to Charlton. So the normal Forest narrative applies there, that they're actually better against more difficult teams, in that they took a draw at West Brom and a win away at Cardiff. You would say are better than QPR and Charlton, who they drew and lost to. So that said, Borough are rubbish at the moment, and there is a small chance you could find Borough in the bottom three by the time Monday comes around. Barnsley are too far back on the goal difference. A Wigan draw would do it. Ben says, Mr. Dawes says, great result against Cardiff on Tuesday. We need to stop inconsistent win-lose draw. Absolutely, you do agree with that one. The only issue I've got with this, and this has no bearing on Forest game, is can you see the entire top four all winning 2 games on the trot? Hipster game says 2-0 Forest. If the Forest narrative inconsistency continues and they're better against top teams, then they won't win this game. They'll draw it. So they do need to buck the trend a little bit. I would like to see a chase, even though it seems like the top 2 are going to streak away with it. David says, "Come on, you tricky trees." Let's put Forest down for a win. Even though I've predicted all of the top 4 to win, that's not going to happen, is it? They're not all just going to win the top 4, even though they did in midweek. But for 2 games running, that would be slightly odd. But they're all favourites in all of their games, aren't they? This is the way the fixture list has done it. Go on then, we'll say Forest to win up at Borough, which is more misery on Borough. But remember, some difficult games for those down the bottom, and some 6-pointers that we're going to talk about. Doran Tor says, he said draw for Borough away, and not optimistic Forest fan. Animation says, out of Huddersfield and Stoke, who do you think is more likely to be relegated? Out of those particular 2, I'd say Huddersfield. Just purely, I think Michael O'Neill and a bit more star power in the team. Then Little Crow says Forest game on Monday, then a game on Friday night might affect their selection. Interestingly though, Lamouchi held his hands up. Who was it, if Mr. Dawes still, or David is still in the chat, if you had to tell me? Who did he rotate against? It was away at Barnsley, I think, or was it away at Wigan? He took 5 players out and they dropped points, and he said he wasn't going to do it again. So I think Lamouchi will go full throttle, even with a Monday and a Friday combo there for Forest. Also, I have recorded the stupid Sabri Lamouchi song, so that will be up soon when I can be bothered to edit the video to add. Check on the channel the stupid Mitrovic song and the stupid Bielsa song. Yeah, Wigan away, says Mr. Dorr. So yeah, Lamouchi's had his fingers burnt by rotation. Another club who had their fingers burnt was Brentford, who I saw lose at Luton, and they weren't very good, and they've got to go away to Cardiff now. And if you are flaky, which we thought Brentford weren't anymore. Colin says they're not stupid, Ben. I love the Beatles song. Thank you, Colin. Okay, we'll say silly rather than stupid. Humorous, comical, let's just say. Some use of my musical talent. There you go. Trevor says the Metro song was great. Have it. Well done, guys. Yeah, Brentford off to Cardiff. You don't want to go to Cardiff and be against Volk's throw-ins and Big Morrison coming up from the back and Patterson and Bennett's set plays and things of that nature. Luke says Brentford showing their inexperience of being at the top. That's probably fair, Luke. Charlie says I should bring out an album. Maybe do a little EP, 4 or 5 tracks. It takes quite a lot of thought to make these silly songs. Are Brentford going to get anything at? Do you know I can't see Brentford going to win at Cardiff. Mr. E says huge game for Brentford, could end up outside of the playoffs. I think if Brentford are in flaky mode, they've had to travel in the wet in Luton. Look, let me say this: if Brentford cannot get Jean-Pierre and Janssen out on the pitch, I don't think they're going to beat Cardiff. Colin says not going to be good football in weather, wind and rain, blowing a gale. I hate to say this because I really like Brentford. Hipster Game says draw. I'm going to go for a Cardiff home win. Bap says Cardiff will poor against Forest. Brentford win. Yeah, I think. Look, if I see the team sheet and Janssen and Jean-Pierre are there, I'd change it. But I'm going to go for a Cardiff win. I hate to say. Let's move on. We've covered Preston because they're off to Fulham, aren't they? Bristol City, what are they up to? They're off to Millwall, off to the Den, and Streaky Lee is on a run of 4 defeats in 5 games. Millwall kind of closed it up a little bit and got a 0-0 at home to Birmingham. I know Millwall fans who follow the channel still optimistic of a playoff push. Streaky Lee gave a strange press conference. I just did a bit of research on my drive back from where I was today. And yeah, he sounded a bit, not even passive aggressive, just aggressive in the press conference. Took on one of the journalists, took on some of his players and said about his disappointment. So I think you might get desperately on Saturday and he might do something crazy like completely change up his system, which could well play into Millwall's hands. Although I can see Bristol City scoring in this one. So I think I'm going to go for a scoring draw in this one. Goals, if I'm right, I think one of our commenters was saying goals dried up a bit down at Millwall. Bradshaw not in there at the moment. Hipster Game says nothing between the sides. Draw. He agrees with me. Let's go scoring draw in that one, just on the basis that Millwall always create chances even from set plays, and Bristol City, they're just open, aren't they? Right, let's go on. Lee was reaching for the another Lee Johnson height joke from Baps there. Bless him. Bless him, Lee. I have to say, if Bristol City finish 7th, that's still fairly decent, and their recruitment's excellent. But someone surely wants 6th place, don't they? Goodness me. Swansea. What are Swansea up to? I can't find them on my fixture list. Blackburn v Swansea. That'll be a good one. Blackburn in 8th versus Swansea in 9th. That will be the closest. And Colin says, do we check back on these predictions? Sometimes I did get a few tweets saying on Wednesday, would you believe this? I got 6 out of 7 correct, which is very, very rare for me. If I get, it's a little crow says only when Ben's done well, exactly, yeah. I normally get half or under half right. It's very, very difficult. But 6 out of 7 on Wednesday, god damn it, that was good, wasn't it? Blackburn versus Swansea. Someone said nailed on draw in the feed. I think they're probably onto something there. Blackburn and Swansea both doing well to hang in there, I think. Luke says big game. Predicts Swansea to get a playoff spot. That's interesting. Someone's got to come from that crowd, haven't they? All within 6 points of Preston. If not, Preston will just stay in there on bullying the bottom teams and being good at home, and accumulate probably I don't know, low to mid 70s. It might not even be that much if we're talking about second place only needing 80, 84, 85 to get up. Swansea still have quality in the front four. Hipster Game says Swansea win. I think if it was at Swansea, I'd make them more favourites. Benjamin says not looking forward to Blackburn away. Danny Graham beat us up at Ewood. Ipswich Game's gone for an away win. Bap says too late for 7th onwards. Yeah, perhaps could be a low old total. You could get a procession here as well. You could get Leeds and West Brom like Newcastle and Brighton in what was it 16-17, sort of 10 points ahead of everybody by the end of this, and everyone just tucks in and settles down for those playoffs. Blackburn Swansea. Scoring? No, not scoring draw. I'm going to go for a home win. Let's back Mogger, put my Ipswich hat on, and go for a home win for Blackburn, which would put them 11 points in 5 games in decent enough form. Out of anybody there, Blackburn look the most consistent in the chase, don't they? Given that, look how patchy Preston and Bristol City are with their win-lose antics. Let's move on. We have already looked at Cardiff. They've got Brentford coming. Wow. Let's call this the FFP, the Profit and Sustainability Derby, the naughty step derby. Sheffield Wednesday versus Derby County. What a classic. Imagine this game was the vital game where one of them was relegated on the basis of FFP and they lost this game or something. So could be the multi-million pound game, but lots of people are telling me the EFL are going to fudge the FFP. Colin says just deduct 3 points from both teams. Where is it? Sheffield Wednesday versus Derby. Derby are bad away from home. Sheffield Wednesday now have Rooney hat-trick, Monk to explode in the presser. Loser gets deducted 30 points, says Luke. Yeah, I'm hearing some stuff that it's going to be split over 2 seasons, which would really annoy some of the teams down the bottom or the ones that it would have put below them. I don't fancy Derby away in this game. Derby have more flake than Sheffield Wednesday do. Mark says, Mark Strong indeed, not the actor Mark Strong, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Says, nice jumper, thank you very much. And the sad thing about this jumper, where is it? Somewhere. I managed to walk out the shop with it, having paid for it, with the tag on, which has got the ink in it. So there is a kind of ink stain on it somewhere, which is, and being the hipster I was when I bought it was from some shop in Camden. I didn't want to go back. Anywho, let's go for Sheffield Wednesday right cuff. Yeah, right cuff. There you go. That is not toothpaste or anything more suspicious. That is the inky thing where I had to take it out myself. Free beard cream with it. Hips the game says Wednesday 3-2. Let's go with that then. Let's go for 3-2 Sheffield Wednesday. I think home win, regardless of whether it's 3-2 or 1-0 or whatever. Richard says Leeds to win 2-0. Prefer the Betty Boot jumper. Nice. Wish I had his money, says Mark Strong. Not that one. Yeah, very talented man, Mark Strong, isn't he? Good actor indeed. QPR versus Birmingham Rangers in 13th. On a nice little run. 8 points in 4 games, a few clean sheets in there. Eze maybe back at it a little bit as well. Birmingham just never lose at the moment, but it's 3 straight draws. If this was at Birmingham, I would make them fair favourites because Rangers have flakiness. Rangers are also very attacking at home, aren't they? Is this the end of the Birmingham win streak, or is it going to be a 4th straight draw? I think it's going to be a 4th straight draw, isn't it? Let's go for that. So QPR and Blues to draw. Hipster Game says a QPR win down at the Kevin Prince Boateng Stadium. Kian Prince Foundation Stadium. There we go. Not belittling, because I know there's good reason that it's called that. Down we go. Oh, here we go. Right, let's get these juicy ones going then. Reading versus Barnsley. Now, I know we're all chaos theorists here, and we love to see it all break down. So I personally would love to see Barnsley go there and win for the 4th time on the trot. Let's get Reading sucked into this. Let's have a gap of about 5 points for the entire bottom 8. I would enjoy that as a neutral. Not fun for the teams that are in it. But in all seriousness, Reading are organised and quite stiff, but their points per game has gone down the pan, hasn't it? Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin. We've got Mark Strong and Steve Austin says Moet Screamer. Mr. E says no home win for Reading in 2020 so far. Alex says Reading 1, Barnsley 2. I can get behind Reading 1, Barnsley 2. Barnsley, no problem. Reading are still out of gas from the Leeds game. That's the real Leeds curse. If you go and play Leeds, you're knackered for the next weeks. Phil says, Bambo Diaby out for 5 to 6 weeks. Key defender. Could they get to a faster conclusion? They're not quick, though, are they? Mr. E says, some fans beginning to turn on Bowen. That would be strange. Charlie says, 2-1 to Barnsley. We are shocking. My goodness me. Mark says, impressed you know my name shape. Only a handful of people noticed it. Oh, the comments are coming in. Oh, I can't go that quickly. Sorry, I missed the Leeds one there. If he's not found guilty, we've lost that player for no reason. That is true, Phil. And look, let's be honest, the EFL are taking forever on Kiko Casilla's racism charge, aren't they? They took forever. They knew about Birmingham's FFP infraction in September and didn't make a points deduction until the last financial break. So don't assume that the EFL are going to go quickly with this. Reading only won 6 games all season. So look, Reading are probably going to end up winning, but come on, let's lump on Barnsley here, which would incredibly for a team in the bottom 3. When does a team in the bottom 3 at any point win 4 games on the trot? They just don't. That's why they're in the bottom 3. Wigan v Fulham, last game of the season. Wigan will do the great escape and give Leeds promotion. Luke, I think Leeds are going to be up before the last game of the season. Phil says, do a collab with Tykes TV. Absolutely, would absolutely love to. So if you fancy dropping a good word in, if you know those guys, then always up for speaking to people who know more about their clubs than me, which is most clubs, apart from maybe Ipswich. There we go. Speedy recovery for Wigan player. Which Wigan player, Charlie, went out in that one? Can you let me know in the chat there? Look, we're all over Barnsley here, aren't we? They are good. Mowatt's been very good all season. Woodrow's got 15. Connor Chaplin was player of the month. Jacob Brown got a load of assists, didn't he? Bambo, the centre half, was playing well, wasn't he? Taking out Solbauer and Anderson. Interesting at centre half. Alex, who are they playing centre halves at the moment? Derby, Barnsley, excuse me, because it was thought that they were all just too young, weren't they? What about the other guy they got from Leeds, Halmo? Buckley suspected broken leg. Not good. Okay, Halmo and Solbauer at the back there. I like Barnsley, and I did say this, I think yesterday on the stream. Even if they do go down, unlike some idiot clubs like my own, they've bought young players with resale value, and they will be able to keep the wheel turning in the transfer market. And believe me, I've watched League One this season. It's not good. It's really, really not good. Oh, Che Dunkley, was it? Isn't Che Dunkley nearly Wigan's top scorer? By the way, what's happened to Kiefer Moore scoring back heels every week? Goodness me, every game. Right, there's a couple left. There's another 6-pointer that I'm eager to talk about. Who are we on to? It's going to be them, isn't it? It's Charlton versus Huddersfield, or Huddersfield versus Charlton. Rotherham at the top, so it's definitely not as. Believe me, it's not good. And just on, people talk about the gap between the Premier League and the Championship. A couple of weeks ago, no, it was last week, I did Derby Fulham on the Friday night, and then Ipswich Oxford. And the thing I really, really noticed, and believe me, Oxford are one of the better teams. Who did I have for Hull? Leeds, strong on Leeds there. The phases of play were so much shorter in League One than in the Championship. Let's just say. We've got to go on to Huddersfield Charlton, haven't we? They're next to each other. That's interesting. So we've got 8th versus 9th, 18th versus 19th. Both tied on 39 points. Let's check the home and away records just to get the full info on this. Huddersfield, 4th worst home team in the league. Charlton, 5th worst away team in the league. Only 3 wins there. I think on the base, it's going to be an unhelpful draw, isn't it? Let's go for an unhelpful draw. Yeah, Bap says another nailed on draw. You can see both teams being so afraid to lose that, and if it gets anywhere near the last 15 and 20 minutes, then I think both teams will just settle back and say, look, we'll take the draw and we'll not die on this particular hill. Mr. E says Huddersfield to win. I think Huddersfield more likely than Charlton, but let's go for a draw in that one, which leaves one more unbelievable 6-point. I love these 3 fixtures down the bottom. Mark says, I'm going to see a Bamford hat-trick tomorrow. Is that not an oxymoron, Bamford hat-trick? Is it not scientifically impossible. No, bless. I'm a Bamford apologist. I've said it a million times. I hope he gets back on it. But and someone pointed out, I said at the start of the season, I don't even remember saying this, well, until they pointed out, no, I do remember, that all Bamford has to do is score the big chances, not even the difficult chances. He doesn't have to be Timu Puki or Che Adams. He just has to be, I don't know, Ian Rush or something. That's unfair on Ian Rush, but you know what I mean. He hasn't managed to do that, but the 2 goals against Millwall were basically tap-ins, weren't they? So let's see if they can lay them on a plate. Did you not see him preventing own goal scoring again? I did. Yeah, that was unfortunate, wasn't it? You just want that point clean everyone out. Anyway, where are we going? We're going to Luton versus Stoke. And I saw Luton in midweek, and they looked a lot different than before Christmas. They looked a lot savvier, a lot more happy to defend and not just go for it. And yeah, they just looked stiffer and stronger. Paraplegic Stuff says, Ben the Stoke hater, don't see us this weekend, but what do you have against Stoke? I have nothing against Stoke, absolutely nothing. All I will say about Stoke is that they've got parachute money and they should be higher in the league. I don't have anything against any team. I'm a lover, not a hater. So yeah, the chaos theory in me says a Luton home win would be nice. Benjamin says confidence after beating Brentford. You would think that Brentford would be more difficult to play against than Stoke, but I think when you set up defensively, Paraplegics lost. But you've not loved us all season. I'm sorry, I can't love everyone. There's only so much love to give out. Paraplegic Sloth, what have Stoke done for me to love them this season? I'll be interested in your answer. Get it in the feed. But the point I was going to make was that Stoke is probably more difficult for Luton to play against than Brentford, because Brentford you could sit back and give them the ball, and I think Stoke will be a bit more stiff. Let's go for an unhelpful draw, but the chaos theory in me wants a Luton win and a Barnsley win, and maybe a draw in the other 2 games just to slide it all together. But we will see what happens down there. I just don't want it to be boring by the end of the season, because let's be honest, the top is going to be boring, isn't it? I think literally if Leeds and West Brom, even something like 6 points from the next 4 games, then I think it's starting to get done, isn't it? Mark says Luton are most people's second team. There we go. We're allowed to have a second team, is that thing? Right. Anyone got any questions? I will do them. I will do a match, Blackpool v Ipswich prediction. All I can tell you, Nick, is I can't say too much. Look out for some interesting team news, and I'll say absolutely no more than that. But yeah, it'll probably be 1-1 up at Blackpool tomorrow. What do I make of the proposed 20 million wage cap? Says Little Crow. I don't think it'll do anything. I think the problem is the difference between the wealth in one league and the wealth in the other. It doesn't matter if you limit one. Am I in the Hull? I'm in the Hull stand tomorrow. No chance of getting a ticket in the Leeds end there. I think you need to have been about 7,000 away games to qualify for one. Someone asked how are Ipswich doing in League One. Not very well, not much of a pattern of play, dropped out of the playoff positions and not been able to beat a team in the top 8 all season. Does not look like Ipswich will be back in the Championship next season. Sadly, Nick says 9th, yeah. Any more questions in there and we will do them. By the way, if there's any leads in here, go in tomorrow, give us a DM on Twitter. Who will go up from League One? Rotherham for sure. Coventry looks like the current top 2 look good. Fleetwood are on a good run, but when it gets to playoffs, you would fancy Pompey or Sunderland, to push it on. Evil Adam says, "Where are the new songs?" In my computer. I will put another one out. It's the 20 million wage cap for parachute size 2. If not, it makes it closed shop, but it should be, shouldn't it? It'd make it very hard for parachute teams. Which teams do I predict will get dragged into the relegation? Dragged in, Russ, quickly I can answer that. Not my first time at Hull. I went last season to see Ipswich lose and play absolutely terribly. I've only been once. Who's going to get dragged in? In terms of dragged in, Borough look the most likely on their form. I just think Hull and Reading have got too many points. Manager of the season, my God. Well, Bilic has got parachutes. Bielsa's set the sights too high. When was the last time I saw Leeds win? Bristol City opening day of the season, by God. Lamouchi would be close. That's a really good job. Neil would be close. Mowbray would be close. If Luton or... No, only Luton. If Luton stay up, then Jones will be close. I don't know. Hipster Game says, Lamouchi, get your ideas in for manager of the season. No outstanding candidate yet, is there? But I would say, if you scroll down the league, West Ham next year, God, that'd be exciting for the channel, wouldn't it? Wow. If you scroll down the table, you would say people doing good jobs, better than expected, are Bilic, Bielsa, Lamouchi, Neil, Mowbray. You have to give Cooper at Swansea a pass for being ninth, but they've still got parachute money. Rowett's done well. Harris not quite. Monk was doing well. Warburton, Closet, Koku. Bowen was doing well. Any of the three teams that came up, you'd have to say they were doing well. Robin says, I think Blackburn. Right, any more questions? Lots of good ideas on that. Millwall v West Ham. We could have that one back. West Ham aren't in the bottom three, aren't they? Who's the current Premier League bottom three? Norwich, Villa, and somebody else. I can't quite think. If there are no more questions, Bielsa made the league watchable. We are missing Watford. Thanks, guys. Yeah, Watford. Would they add to the lead? Are Ipswich getting the playoffs? I don't think so, Luke. I don't. It's sad to say. It really, really is. Paraplegic says O'Neill is doing well for us. Yeah, he is. West Ham at 18th, so in the relegation zone. Okay. God, West Ham. We've had them down a couple of times, haven't we? So there we go. Hope I'm supporting Leeds tomorrow. I don't support anyone other than Ipswich, I'm afraid. So I will be purely neutral, but I love to watch Leeds. Put it this way, I prefer to watch this game if Grzycki and Bowen were still playing. I think it may be a tad one-sided, let's just say. But no, I remain very neutral and will exclaim for good football. There we go. Hip to the Game says Norwich, Villa and Bournemouth. Support the officials. They need all the help they can get. Benjamin Bage. There we go. You've got to be neutral when you do like the whole division. Makes sense, doesn't it? Right, thank you everybody for joining in. Best game of the season so far. Do I want VAR in the Championship? Yes, I'd like VAR in the Championship, but can they fix it before it comes down? Best game this season. Do you know, day one of the season, weekend number one. I wasn't at Birmingham v Leeds, but that's a great straight shout, 4-5. The 3-3 I saw between Luton and Borough was brilliant and a great advert for Luton. I did love Leeds demolishing Bristol City on the first day as well. That was great. I'm trying to think since those ones really, really stand out. Extended transfer window, a good idea. I don't know. It's whatever they do, they need to match up all across Europe and all across the divisions, because every time they put a rule in, it seems to hamstring once. I've been a Leeds fan for 60 years, says Ian. Good one. Most games recently have been 1-1. I have to say, I'm sure I've done about 51 ones. Wilder, future England manager, possibly. Needs to keep going, doesn't he? Europe, thought you all left. Yeah, we did, didn't we? Or we are, and we have, and we are at the moment, but we'll see how that goes. Right. Thank you everybody for watching. Another brilliant stream. Great stuff in the comments. Am I watching the Norwich game, says Luke. Do you know what? For some reason, I've been enjoying watching Norwich this season, more than I enjoyed watching them last season. But as I'm off to Hull tomorrow, I'm sure I'm going to be required to watch a movie on the middle floor of my house. That sounded very snobbish, didn't it, the middle floor? But that's where we have the movie stuff down there. So I'll check in Norwich. Hopefully James Maddison has a nice fun return there. Thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow for Leeds Hull, and then maybe I'll try and get the review knocked out tomorrow evening. We shall see. Been a busy week. Thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the football this weekend. Keep in touch on Twitter at Benjamin Bloom, on here, on Instagram, wherever you like. See you all soon. Over now.